So when I'm dovetailing scale materials such as micarta or wood, which can shred very easily if I were to use the 4-flute carbide cutter, I like to use a rotary file, also known as a burr. And this is an end cutting burr, carbide, and that prevents the wood from shredding and splintering. And if you haven't got a setup such as my fixture to hold the material at 60 degrees, there is another way of doing it if you have a milling machine, and that is with again, carbide cutter, known as a burr, with a 60-degree angle. You could use 45 degrees also, but I like 60 degrees. And basically, you just set up in the mill on your tooling plate, and you could cut both the scales and the bolster using this type of rotary file. And if you can see close up, this is how it looks dovetailed with the scale material and the bolster. And that basically concludes our sojourn into bolsters on the folding knife. Thanks for watching. Now, if you don't have a milling machine, there is a technique for making bolsters, making them squared. Basically, you put the two bolsters together and you do it on a flat platen grinder. And there are two things you have to remember. One is you use a tri-pin to make sure that the pivot holes are all lined up. And number two, you hold them together with super glue. Don't put a lot on, just a couple of dots will be sufficient. But don't overheat the pieces. Keep cooling them off because that super glue will release with heat and you don't want them to suddenly shift while you're grinding. You want them to be ground, both of them exactly at the same time. So that's how you can do it without a milling machine.